You know, growing up, there's things we did every day. And then there was things we did for the very last time and we didn't realize it. Let's talk about some things back in the 70s and 80s we did. And we didn't realize it was for the last time ever. Welcome back, guys. It's Junkman here, and today we're just going to talk about some things that we did as a child. I would say in the 80s, but most of this is maybe can apply to other eras besides maybe the 70s and 80s, but that's what we talk about on this channel, Gen X era that grew up in the 70s and 80s. And these are the things that we did one last time, and we didn't even realize it. We did these and we didn't know. We said, hey, we'll do it again tomorrow, and you know, we just didn't do it. Our childhood just passed by. Sadly, that's what happens. You take for granted stuff you do every day, and then next thing you know, you look back and you say, man, I haven't done that in a long time. So let's dig. I got about 15 of them. I thought it'd be a little fun and hear what you got to say about it in the comments below. And let's start with this one right here. Playing with your toys in the bath water. I take a bath today. Well, mostly a shower. Something about sitting in a pool of my own filth. It's just not as fun as it used to be when I was a kid. But yeah, I used to get in the tub and have, I even blame my Millennium Falcon in there. And I would try not to get the water on the inside because of the cardboard, but sometimes it would get in there. It was always nice when you had a vehicle or a ship or something that you didn't have to worry about that. But you would take your figures in there. You wouldn't take R2 because you had a sticker on it. But you would take some others, play with them in your tub, have them swim around your ball sack. It was a lot of fun. You're like, oh, Jawa, don't go in that cave. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Then one day, you went in there, you took a bath, played with your figures, you got out. Next day, you probably took a shower. Probably moved on from baths. And you never took your toys into the tub with you anymore. But who knows? Some of you may still do it today. What about this one? Late night, back in the 80s. Parents are in the bed. You're home. I was going to say alone, but you're in the living room alone. Big cabinet television. You're trying to watch a little bit of porn. But you don't have porn. It's not the internet days. We're watching scrambled porn. You didn't care. It was all scrambled and looked all cockeyed and crazy and everything. But every once in a while you see a nipple or a butthole and you get all excited. You're like, all right. It was enough to make you happy, even if it was scrambled porn. I don't think no kids today are really watching scrambled porn. I don't even think any adults are. I know there's people into everything. There's all people into feet, people into wearing diapers, people into weird, crazy stuff. You think there's any like a group of people that's just into scrambled porn and it's like they watch videos on porn sites that just scramble porn? I hope not. I hope not. How about this one? Going with your parents to the grocery store and you sit under the cart. I know when you're a little baby you sit in the top part right there, but I always sit under the cart. I don't mean exactly under the cart. I mean, I wasn't like I was Indiana Jones under the truck and everything, but you know, it has a little section where you put dog food. I'll sit right there. I know it has a little flap at the top where you sit in the little chair part that says don't sit under there, but everybody did. You put your hands on the ground, it gets so dirty. Oh, I tell you, Mom ran over your finger with the wheel. That would hurt. I'm sure some of you guys sat under there before. Now, see, guys, because I remember I was sitting in the top basket bar, you know, we put your legs through when I was real little. My brother would have the bottom. My sister usually walked, but then, you know, they got older. They didn't go to the grocery store, and I got to sit at the bottom of it. It's a lot of fun, but I still go to the grocery store today, and I don't sit on the bottom of the cart. Now, we in the South call it a buggy, but I know that's probably just a Southern thing right there. How about this? You have a best friend come over, and you sleep in a homemade fort made out of blankets and chairs. Bet you haven't done that since you were a kid. And one time you did that for the last time. Your friend came over and y'all set up all these blankets and chairs. And you got under it. And you probably told stories and everything. Talked about school and friends. And swapped laughs and everything. And then one day he went home and I don't know, maybe you just never did it again. You just never did it again. Maybe you got older and you had children of yourself and you and your children did it. It's not really the same, is it? No, they're probably inside that tent with an iPhone and an iPad. Every song they can imagine at their fingertips, movies. There's something just special about wanting stuff. Now have everything at your fingertips. Remember when Wizard of Oz or Rudolph would come on once a year and you get excited about it? But you build a fort, you get it in, and sadly, you did that one time. You did it one last time. You didn't realize it was your last time. You thought, oh, we'll do it again next time he comes over. And he didn't never come over. He just never did do it again. So you got that one. How about this one right here? You sung an 80s rock love ballad into your Mr. Microphone. I know some of you are going to act like, I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You did. You probably listened. You know the love ballads. This was like, hey, it was cool. I like Poison. All these long hair guys. Poison, Megadeth, Color Me Bad, Iron Maiden, and every once in a while, they would do a love ballad. The bad boy, soft side, and you had to learn these songs too because it made the girls, like you a little. Made the girls see there's a soft side to you. Sure, you could have your Slayer poster in your locker and everything, maybe your Faster Pussycat t-shirt, but you had to have that soft side also, and you get your Mr. Microphone, you would sing the word, you gotta learn the lyrics, you would do that. Here's one, you walked into a KB Toys for the last time. Now, I was more of an adult when I did this one here, but I guess I kind of knew because it was going out of business, but that was a time even as a kid. I walked into a KB as a kid, I walked out, and never went back, not as a kid. Sad. I miss the toy stores. Toys R Us, KB, Lionel's Play World, Toy Liquidator. I miss a good toy store. Something about toys in the back over by the bike section at a department store. Just not as fun, is it? I miss a good old toy store. How about this one? You give yourself fake shot. You remember these pencils? They had the lead in them. You push the button and the lead comes out. You push it up, the lead would come out really far, and you put it on your skin. You hold the button down, and you can push it on your skin, but it would push the lead back up in it. But it would make you look like you're getting a shot. A lead shot with a pencil. And you sit there in class board, supposed to be doing math tests. You're giving yourself shots, It was like, we'd be in class. We'd take the rubber band from our books. Because you saw it on Miami Vice or something. You're like, oh, just what the junkies do. Am I the one that did that too? Please tell me I wasn't the only one that did. I couldn't have been. I couldn't have been the only one that did that, because I hope not. How about this one here? Getting excited to watch a network television premiere of a movie that played at the theaters you always wanted to see, and you didn't get a chance to see. Now this one sadly kind of went away when people started running VHS tapes and everything. But there was a time when you get excited. Oh my gosh, Superman's coming on NBC tonight. You'd be excited. You can't wait to get home. There'd be commercials all week for it. Have a big spread and TV guide. And there was a time when you got excited for that, and you never did again. Never did. Maybe it was Superman 2. I don't know. I don't know what it was you watched. Maybe it was Alien. Could have been. Maybe it was Star Wars. You got all excited. And then next thing you know, he's renting videotapes. He was buying videotapes. Getting deep. He didn't care anymore. And TV would come on network television, and nobody even cared. It was a come and go. It's a Sunday night movie, and nobody move on about it. So there's one last time you were excited about it, and you figured, hey, I'll be excited when the next one comes on. But you what? You moved on. Let's see. How about this? How about jumping a ramp on your bicycle? Now, some of you still might do that today. I don't know. But there was a time as a kid, you built the ramp. You and your friends put up the cinder blocks. You put up the plywood. You got on your bike. You pedal those pedals as fast as you could. You went around a couple times, make sure your speed was right before you hit. You popped a couple of wheelies to make sure you could really lift that bike up like you wanted to. And then you did it. Jumped on that ramp. You landed. Fun. You probably did it 4 or 5 more times. And I don't know, the street light came on, you had to go home. And you thought, hey, tomorrow I'm going to jump another one. I'm going to build a bigger ramp. I'm going to build a ramp and land on a ramp. I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to build a ramp and I could land on the other ramp. I never did do that. I had a friend named Mike that did that. And he landed on the plywood on the other side and it cracked it. He busted his ass and everything. And I guess that's why I never did do it. But there was one time when I jumped over that ramp and I said, hey, I'll do it again. And you know what? I never did it again. Never did it again. I didn't realize at the time. If I realized at the time, then when I jumped this ramp on this plywood, laying on the cinder blocks, let's make it special because this is the last time I'll ever do it. But no, you don't realize you're in that moment when you're in that moment. How about this one? Last time you went to a store all excited to buy a Nintendo game, an NES game. Now I know you probably still buy your video games today, probably even download them. How fun is that? But there was a time when you walked into a Zayre's, you walked into a Kmart, and you got that Nintendo game in the box, had the wrapper around it. Sometimes they put a wrapper, sometimes they didn't. You get the box, bring it home, rip open the box. You look at the instructions, like, who reads those instructions? I'll figure this shit out on my own. Take it out, put it in, push it down, push play you some Nintendo. And you're excited. You're like, oh man, I can't wait till I buy another game and do this. But no, you grew up a little bit. And then there was another, then there was Super. You didn't even buy, think about it, when you bought your last Nintendo game, you didn't know it would probably be your last one. Then you got Super Nintendo. You didn't buy Nintendo. Then maybe you found something later at the flea market. That don't really count. But there was a time when you got excited because a new game just got released on Nintendo. You got it. For me, it was Top Gun. Top Gun is theirs. I can remember buying it still in my head today and playing that game. I talked about it before. I could not land on that aircraft carrier. Why do they make it so hard? Up, go up. You got to push down. To go down, you got to push up. Oh, it was crazy. It was crazy. How about the last time you rode a school bus? Yeah, you got on the school bus to go to school. You thought, I'll ride a school bus tomorrow. It's Friday. I'll ride it. Maybe you graduated and get right in, so you kind of knew. But for a lot of us, it was, we were hitting that 15 age. We started having friends that would drive, and finally, you got a friend that would drive you to school. But you get on the bus, you might not know it's your last time on that school bus. Maybe you're like, okay, I'll ride the bus sometime, and then my friend takes me sometime. But then one day you got on that bus, took you to school, or took you home from school, never rode it again. And you didn't know when you took your foot off that bus that you would never get back. If you did, you would have celebrated. Because even if it was actually kind of fun to ride the school bus, we don't want to admit that. Sit in the back, you cut up, you cut into some fat kids, made fun of a kid with freckles or something. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun on the bus, but you act like it wasn't. Yeah, like I can still remember this. One of my, there's a lot of people talk about their football game they won in high school. And I've talked about this before. We were on the ride home from the bus. And we were talking, cutting up, throwing some milk cartons and stuff, and the bus driver said, we're going to stop and put you out. Junk kid, we're going to put you out. And I kept on joking, yelling, doing whatever I was doing. I don't even remember exactly what. And the bus driver stopped and put me off the bus. I don't think you can do that today. I don't think you can kick kids off a bus today. 65 days today. But she put me off the bus, and I hauled ass home. I remember Ferris Bueller, how he ran home at the end of the movie. That's what I was, jumping fences, running through backyards. I ran all the way to my house where the bus stops, at my bus stop. I got there maybe 2 minutes before the bus did, out of breath, tried to act like I wasn't, stood there where the bus stop was. The bus pulled up to let other kids off that got off at that bus stop. And, I can hear the people at the back of the bus, laughing. They got you, Mr. Weeks. They got you. And it was like, yeah, I showed that bus driver. Put me off. I got home. Before that. So I thought that was really, still, like I said, people brag today about their high school football game they won or something, the home run they hit in soccer. I don't know. To me, I still remember that day. Might not be that special to you, but I didn't do a lot of special in my high school years, so that was stuck out there right there. How about the last time you bought a book, or at least something from the book fair at school? You took your mom's blank check. You had mom write a check and put her name on it. You take a blank check, make sure you give you a $20 bill. A lot of times you buy a book. Sometimes you buy a poster, maybe of a cat hanging from a tree saying hang in there. Or maybe it was a poster from the last Starfighter or something cool. And usually, we didn't have stores like we do today or internet, so a lot of the stuff we found at the book fair we couldn't get. A lot of times I didn't get books. Sometimes I did, especially that pop-up book. But there was one time when you was like, all right, the book fair's coming. You're all excited about the book fair. You're probably in the 6th grade, all excited. You bought, maybe some erasers, some pencils, a poster, and a book. And you're like, I can't wait till next year. The next year was middle school, junior high, whatever one you want to call it. 7th grade, they didn't have a book fair. You probably was like, oh man, no book fair. What is this? This is a ripoff. And then you never think nothing else about it. But there was a time you walked in there and you bought your last book and you didn't realize it was your last time going to the book fair. You probably would have, like I said, took it in a little bit more. You would have realized it was special. And I feel the same way about buying a comic book, coming home and reading. Now, I bought comic books in the 90s. That's not what I'm talking about. I'll get one in the cover, but no. Buying a comic book, usually I didn't really go to comic book stores much. Every once in a while, I spin a rack at a drugstore, see Spider-Man, Superman, Captain America, Captain Caveman, all these superheroes you heard about. You take it, hey mama, you get me this, you get home. I always got the Star Wars Marvel ones if I saw them. And you would be, I'm riding in the car on the way home, sitting in the back seat. No seatbelt, of course. The seatbelts. No! You wouldn't wear no seatbelts in the back seat. The seatbelt was tucked down in the seats so far you couldn't even get them out if you wanted to wear seatbelts in the car. But you look through, you didn't want to read in the car, kind of made you sick, motion sickness and everything. So you'd be looking at that cover, flipping through the pages and everything. You didn't care about spoilers. You was looking at pictures. You're like, oh my God, what's going on? I see some adventures happening, but I don't really know what's going on because I only can see the adventures. I'm not reading about it. You get home, maybe that night, you put the cover over your head and you get a flashlight. You're supposed to be asleep. Your parents are like, go to bed. And you're like, no, you're under the cover with your flashlight up here reading your comic book. Well, there was a time when you went and bought that comic book, and it was the last time you had that kind of fun reading it. Maybe you bought ones later as an adult collector. I'm touching the pages really slow. Maybe kept it in plastic so no one would ever touch it or something. But one last time. And How about this one? The last time, this kind of goes with where we started with the pool, with the tub, I mean, but this is the last time you play with your action figures. Last time you laid on the floor and you had your He-Man collection all, you had Castle Grayskull over here, Snake Mountain over here, maybe it was on top of a chair so it felt like it was really high up. And you had a war trying to get the Castle Grayskull, and He-Man got beat up by Trapjaw, and Man-at-Arms had a hell. You had a whole episode in your head, and you put them up. Your mom said, "Come on, let's go eat supper," and you put up your toys, put them in wherever you kept them. Carrying kids, I kept mine in my Star Wars in a pony shoe box, and I had another box. I kept my He-Man, threw them all in there, cleaned up. Put everything away, went and ate supper, and guess what? Never got them back out and never play with them again. But at the time, I thought, hey, I'll come back tomorrow and finish this episode out. But you didn't. You didn't realize it was going to be the last time that you was going to lay on that floor or on your bed or wherever you play with your figures and play with your Star Wars or He-Man or whatever toys. Again, if you knew this was going to be the last time, you would have cherished it. You would have held on to it. But no, you didn't realize it was going to be the last time. And the last one on this list... the last time you masturbated to a 13-year-old girl. Now, I'm hoping none of you guys do that today. But, let's be honest, there was a time when we were about 13. I can remember taking the yearbook, and I would go through my whole class. Not the boys, nothing wrong, just not my style. And each girl on there, I would say, okay, this week I'm gonna think about her. Oh, Esther. Oh, I gotta think about Esther. This is gonna be a rough week. But you had to go through each one. And yeah, they were about 13, but you were about 14 then. So it's okay. Like I said, you're doing it today. If you got a yearbook from school and you're doing it today, but there was a time when I don't know about you, but I had to do it to at least every girl in the class. I had to have a spank bank of everyone, because you never knew. That ugly girl might have come next year or something, and she's kind of cute now. Maybe she's grown up a little bit. The braces came off. The hair got fixed. It started to come out. And you're like, whew, well, at least I got a spank bank up here from last year. Or sometimes it was just fun to, the girl you didn't like. Maybe the mean girl in class that was kind of rude to you. Kind of love and hate thing. That made it kind of a little fun. Maybe it was the really ugly girl, and it made you think, oh, okay. Hey, I'm being kind. In your fantasy, you're like, hey, look at me. Judge me by looks, I do not. But yeah, there was a time when you jerked off thinking about a 13-year-old and you stopped it. You never did it again. Again, I hope it was like 14 when you stopped. Again, 14, maybe pushing 15, I hope you're not doing it today. If you're 40 years old today and you're doing it, it's a whole different story right there. But that's a look at about 15 things that you did one last time, and you didn't realize that was going to be it. It was over. You're done with. Let me know something I forgot. Put it in the comments section. Thank you for watching.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.